A new survey says more than 1 in 10 Americans have already tried a GLP-1, and we'll tell you exactly who's using them. TRICARE tightens weight loss drug coverage for military families, and Danone launches a yogurt drink just for GLP-1 users. We'll also break down Ohio's new compounding rules, Noom's microdose program, Pfizer's latest obesity setback, the stock market crash that shows how GLP-1s are shaking up sleep apnea, the stock drop that shows how GLP-1s are shaking up sleep apnea, and how Eli Lilly is helping girls play basketball for free.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Downsized News. It's Monday, August 11th, 2025, and we're glad you're here. Today we're diving into the latest on GLP-1s. I'm Laraine Durham, and I've lost over 50 pounds with the GLP-1 tirzepatide. This journey has changed my life, and I'm here to help you feel informed, empowered, and supported every step of the way. So if you're ready for the latest news and updates with a little splash of motivation, stick around for updates you may not see anywhere else.
My name is Christopher Durham. I've lost 100 pounds on this adventure using GLP-1s. We're talking real experience, not theory. We're here to give you the real story about the medications changing lives, the system making it harder than it needs to be, and the science that's pushing forward.
If you're new to our channel, welcome. If you've been with us for a while, welcome back. We always like to mention that we're not doctors, but we have lost weight with the help of GLP-1 medications. We publish videos on GLP-1 topics every day, so go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button now so that you don't miss out on any episodes.
From Mounjaro and Zepbound to Wegovy and Ozempic, semaglutide to tirzepatide, and new GLP-1s in development, we're covering it all. New research, policy updates, new meds in the pipeline. Let's get into what matters for those of us using GLP-1s to treat the disease of obesity. In story number one, we've been saying for a while now that GLP-1 medications are everywhere. We talk about it, obviously. Well, a brand new survey from the RAND research group proves it. More than 1 in 10 Americans have already tried one. That's about 12% of adults who've taken a GLP-1 like Zepbound, Wegovy, or Ozempic. And get this, another 14% say they're interested in trying one. That means more than a quarter of adults are either on them right now, have used them in the past, or are thinking about it. So who's actually taking these medications? RAND surveyed almost 8,800 people this spring, and here's what they found. The 50 to 64 age group is leading the pack at 18.5%. I think we know that. That's a lot of you guys out there. Hello. Women in that group are the highest users of all. 1 in 5 have taken GLP-1, also very reflective of our numbers. In the 30 to 49 age range, women are more than twice as likely as men to have tried one.
Makes sense.
And here's a twist. In the 65 and older group, men are slightly more likely than women to be using them. Now, if you've been on a GLP-1, the side effects are going to sound familiar. Nausea tops the list at 52% say they've had it. Diarrhea is next at 34%, vomiting came in at 20%, and about 9% reported Ozempic face, that hollowed out look from rapid weight loss. The good news, most people said these side effects were mild and not serious. If you're new to the GLP-1 conversation, these medications mimic a hormone in your body that helps control blood sugar, slows digestion, and keeps you feeling full. They were first approved for type 2 diabetes, then for obesity, and just recently to lower cardiovascular risk and several other comorbidities. And here's how fast things are moving. Since 2020, GLP-1 prescriptions have more than tripled. What used to be something most people had never heard of is now something millions have tried. These numbers show just how quickly the landscape is changing and how many people are sharing this adventure with us. And these numbers are right in line. If you look at our Google Analytics,
they're the same. So our viewers mirror these numbers. So I noticed nausea was at the top of that list.
I think you get it more on the Ozempic Wegovy side. That's the nausea piece.
I think that's why.
But those statistics run pretty closely with the research when you look at it. So that's what we always say, right? 20 to 30% of people have one of these.
Yeah, everybody wants to try it. Everybody's learning about it. Everybody's watching the Downsized.
Let's
learn more about it. In story number 2, for years, studies have warned that a big chunk of the weight people lose on GLP-1 medications like Ozempic, Wegovy, Zepbound, and Mounjaro might actually be muscle. Some research suggested that anywhere from 25% to nearly 40% of that weight loss could be lean mass. But a new study, published in Cell Metabolism and led by researchers at the University of Utah, is challenging that picture, and the results might surprise you. This was a mouse study, so it's not direct proof in humans, but it offers some important clues. The researchers found that mice given semaglutide, which is the active ingredient in Ozempic and Wegovy, lost about 10% of their lean mass, not the 25 to 39% that earlier studies had suggested. And here's the twist. That loss wasn't just from skeletal muscle. In fact, a lot of it came from other tissues, especially the liver, which shrank by almost half. That's not necessarily a bad thing. A smaller, healthier liver can mean a lower risk for fatty liver disease. I did not know that. Dr. Katsu Funai, senior author of the study, said in a University of Utah press release, "We have data in mice that suggest things are not as straightforward as they might seem." In other words, not all muscle loss is the same, and it's possible we've been overestimating the problem. Now, why does this matter for people on GLP-1s? Lean mass, especially skeletal muscle, is critical for strength, mobility, and metabolism. Losing too much of it can affect long-term health. That's why doctors have been worried. But according to Dr. Seth Kapinis, a bariatric surgeon at Hackensack Meridian Jersey Shore University Medical Center, some loss is expected when you lose weight, whether it's through surgery, medication, or diet. The real key? Adequate protein and good nutrition. Any patient with a restricted diet and poor nutrition will have a drop in muscle mass, Kapinis told Medical News Today. Working with a registered dietitian is key to long-term success. Dr. Kay Srona, a bariatric surgeon at Memorial Care Surgical Weight Loss Center in California, added that while the findings are encouraging, human trials are needed to really understand what's going on. It would be important to evaluate effects on muscle strength as well as function, Rona said. Also to determine whether certain areas of the body are more susceptible to muscle loss and identify preventative strategies. This is promising news, but we still don't know if the same pattern holds true in people. That's why doctors like Rona are calling for randomized, controlled human trials to see if lean mass loss with GLP-1s is really smaller and more about organ shrinkage than skeletal muscle loss. Until then, the advice stays the same. Prioritize protein. I like to say eat your protein first. I am not a doctor. Stay active with strength training, and of course check with your doctor before starting an exercise program. You can also work with a dietitian or healthcare provider who understands obesity as a chronic disease. And as always, keep in mind whether it's Zepbound, Mounjaro, Ozempic, or Wegovy, patient safety, nutrition, and long-term health come first.
So the lean mass conversation is important because I think that's,
Yes.
people get confused. So when you look at your scale or you go get the gold standard, the DEXA scan, it really doesn't measure muscle. It is basically measuring everything else, and then what's left is lean mass. And it can't say what the difference is between the weight of the liver versus the weight of the muscle.
Right. So we know whenever you go on a diet and lose weight, now GLP-1s are not diets, so let me back up a little bit. But whenever you lose weight, you are also going to lose muscle. And that's just true with any weight loss plan or tool, right? So I definitely lost some muscle along my 50-pound weight loss journey. Where did that, we don't know. So this study with the mice, their livers shrunk, which apparently wasn't necessarily a bad thing. I don't really know.
I guess enlarged livers are a bad thing.
Yeah, so we're just learning more and more about these GLP-1 medications every day. It is important to prioritize protein, and so I think that's important for people to know on the GLP-1.
So it's too early to say what all of that means, but it's an interesting sign. Story number 3, TRICARE is making a major policy shift that will impact thousands of military families using weight loss medications. The Defense Health Agency says new rules will take effect August 31st, 2025, tightening coverage for popular drugs like Zepbound and Wegovy. If you're unfamiliar with TRICARE, it's the military's health care program for active duty service members, National Guard, and reserve members, military retirees, and their families. It functions much like civilian health insurance, but offers plans tailored to the military community, including TRICARE Prime, TRICARE Select, and several premium-based options. Under the new policy, only beneficiaries enrolled in TRICARE Prime, TRICARE Select, or certain premium-based plans will be eligible for weight loss drug coverage, and only if they meet TRICARE's clinical criteria and have prior authorization from a network provider. That means even if you currently have approval for one of these medications, it will expire on August 31st, and you'll need to start the process over. Those on TRICARE for Life or with direct care only access will no longer have coverage for weight loss drugs. The list of covered medications for weight loss includes Saxenda, Wegovy, Zepbound, Qsema, Phentermine, and Contrave. Type 2 diabetes coverage will continue for Trulicity, Ozempic, Mounjaro, and Victoza, provided there is prior authorization and the drug is medically necessary. The Defense Health Agency says the changes are part of regulatory controls being implemented across the system. Officials recommend patients affected by the shift talk to their providers about alternatives such as nutrition counseling, lifestyle changes, or other medical options. TRICARE will send notices to impacted beneficiaries in the coming weeks, but the agency is urging patients not to wait. If you rely on a weight loss prescription, the time to confirm your coverage status and next step is now. I pulled this story. Actually, we've had a couple of viewers reach out and mention this. We certainly hate to see people lose coverage on this.
In story number 4, Danone, the company behind the Oikos yogurt brand, is introducing a new product called Oikos Fusion, a yogurt drink aimed squarely at people using GLP-1 medications such as Zepbound, Mounjaro, Wegovy, and Ozempic. The launch addresses a well-known challenge. About 20% of weight loss while on a GLP-1 medication can be muscle. Oikos Fusion contains a blend of whey protein, leucine, and vitamin D, and provides 23 grams of complete protein plus 5 grams of prebiotic fiber in a single 7-ounce bottle. It is designed to help preserve and build muscle when paired with a balanced diet and regular exercise. Rafael Avesito, president of yogurt at Danone North America, says GLP-1 users are the center of the bullseye for this launch. He believes that the appetite suppression common among users of these medications is driving demand for smaller, more nutrient-dense options, and Danone sees a one-of-a-kind opportunity to meet that need. Beyond the functional formula, Oikos Fusion comes in 3 flavors: strawberry, mixed berry, and vanilla, and each 130-calorie lactose-free bottle has 0 added sugar, plus vitamins B3 and B12 to support energy metabolism. The product will roll out initially at Walmart this August, with wider availability at Target, Kroger, Wakefern, and other major retailers planned for October.
You love this sort of thing. Would you try it?
Well, now this is a yogurt drink. So I eat a lot of just, regular yogurt. I think I've seen ones with 20 grams of protein. Of course, 0 sugar is a thing on some of these Greek yogurts. Drinks, I'd rather have something that I eat rather than a drink.
It's more like a smoothie then.
Yeah, and 23 grams of protein.
And 7 ounces of liquid with 5 grams of fiber. It's probably thick.
I would try it.
They don't tell you how much it costs either.
I'd say it'll probably be $2 a little bottle, if not more. That'd be my guess.
Story number 5, the Ohio Board of Pharmacy has weighed in on the ongoing GLP-1 compounding debate, issuing a new set of FAQs aimed at pharmacies, prescribers, and outsourcing facilities. This follows the FDA's spring 2025 decision to officially end the shortage of semaglutide and tirzepatide. The active ingredient in the brand names Wegovy, Ozempic, Mounjaro, and Zepbound. Alongside that announcement, the FDA issued orders banning the compounding of what it calls essentially copies of those drugs. This by the 503B pharmacies. Ohio's new guidance makes one thing clear. Pharmacies and outsourcing facilities can no longer produce compounded GLP-1s unless very specific conditions are met. All the state of Ohio. So what's changing? Under the new FAQs, GLP-1s may only be compounded if, number 1, they are not commercially available, including during an FDA-declared shortage, or they include a change for a specific patient, that makes a significant difference as determined by the prescribing provider. The prescriber now must document exactly what that difference is on the prescription. Simply listing a patient's name and the drug formulation won't cut it. Acceptable examples include removing a dye due to an allergy, providing a liquid form if the patient can't swallow pills, creating a higher dose that isn't commercially sold. And for those wondering, adding something like vitamin B12 to a GLP-1 isn't enough to meet the significant difference requirement in the state of Ohio. What about inventory already on hand? Well, if compounded GLP-1s were made before the FDA's official shortage and dates, prescriber clinics and compounding pharmacies may still dispense them. But anything compounded after those dates must follow the new rules.
In Ohio.
Yeah. Ohio also reminds compounders that all GLP-1 products must follow any applicable USP or NF monograph, use components of FDA-approved drug products if no monograph exists, or use ingredients on the FDA's official 503A bulks list. And the active pharmaceutical ingredient must be sourced from an Ohio-licensed drug distributor. This move from Ohio follows similar steps in other states like Connecticut and shows a tightening regulatory environment around GLP-1 compounding. With federal orders now in place and litigation still ongoing, pharmacies and prescribers are under more pressure to document, justify, and comply or face enforcement action. So the state of Ohio is telling pharmacies how they need to behave.
Wonder why they did that. Somebody complained, Eli Lilly called them. I mean, what was the impetus to suddenly make these rules for the state of Ohio? Yeah, interesting. But this is only for the state of Ohio.
Correct.
So,
and there's a lot of vagaries in there, right? There's a lot of things that it sounds like at some point a lawyer is going to go, we should file suit because it sounds like it works for me.
I mean, they still can add things to it and make it personalized. So, not just a vitamin or not, which, I don't know. We'll see. In story number 6, telehealth platform and weight loss app Noom has announced the launch of its Microdose GLP-1 RX program, a new offering that combines low-dose GLP-1 prescriptions with behavioral coaching, clinical monitoring, and medication management. According to Noom, a microdose is defined as 25% or less of the typical maintenance dose for a GLP-1 medication. The company says 70% of its members receiving microdoses report no side effects. The program includes the prescribed medication, access to Noom's GLP-1 companion, ongoing clinical monitoring and adjustments, and prescription refills when appropriate. It is priced at $119 for the first month and $199 per month thereafter. In a LinkedIn post, Noom CEO Jeff Cook said he has been microdosing GLP-1s himself since October, initially to lower his A1C. He described the effects on his health as far more positive and profound than expected, despite the smaller dose. It is important to note that while microdosing GLP-1s has been gaining attention on social media, there is no clinical research supporting the efficacy or safety of these doses, and the FDA has not approved GLP-1 medications at these lower amounts. Always talk to your doctor about your health care and specific needs before starting or changing any medication. Other telehealth providers are $199 a month any dose. So I don't know. Microdosing has not been proven in clinical trials. People just kind of are doing it for whatever reasons, and now Noom seems to be supporting it, which
And while you might not get side effects, you probably also will not get weight loss.
Well, yeah, if you need to lose weight, microdosing is not going to help you. It's just not. So and I'm not a doctor.
Not a doctor.
I'm not a doctor. That is my own opinion.
Story number 7, Inspire Medical Systems saw its stock collapse on Tuesday, falling more than 32% to close at $87.91 after the company said GLP medications are starting to weigh on its business. Inspire makes implantable devices to treat obstructive sleep apnea, but that's the same space where Eli Lilly's Zepbound is now approved. Zepbound, along with Novo Nordisk's Wegovy, are GLP medications that help patients lose weight, and in some cases improve or even resolve sleep apnea symptoms without surgery or devices. If you ever watch TV at all, there's always an Inspire ad on.
They've got great commercials.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
On its second quarter earnings call, Inspire said GLP-1 adoption was a factor in slowing growth. Leerink Partners analyst Mike Kratky noted that Lilly's direct-to-consumer marketing to sleep apnea patients could be a long-term headwind for Inspire, writing that the GLP bear thesis can't be disproved. Given the current momentum of these medications, the company also faced other challenges. Inspire reported $217.1 million in sales for the quarter, up 11% year over year, and slightly above Wall Street expectations with adjusted earnings of 45 cents per share, more than double what analysts had forecast, but slower than expected rollout of its new Inspire 5 system hurt results. Some patients are still waiting for the newer model, while others face delays in reimbursement due to the transition from the older Inspire 4 system. CEO Tim Herbert said the U.S. launch of Inspire 5 is progressing slower than expected, and the full transition has been pushed out, lowering this year's financial outlook. Inspire now expects full-year sales of $900 to $910 million, down from earlier guidance, and profit of just 40 to 50 cents per share, far below the previous forecast of $2.20 to $2.30. For patients, this is a sign of how much GLP-1 medications are starting to change the sleep apnea landscape, giving more options beyond surgical devices, but also shaking up companies that built their businesses around older treatment methods. It's another company whose stock tanked, and they were wildly profitable.
Yeah, I would say less people will be using these devices since Zepbound is so effective for sleep apnea, but also they said their new product rollout was had a slowdown. So, it's nice to blame Zepbound for all your troubles, but your own new product is rolling out a little slow too. And I would think there's still people with sleep apnea that perhaps don't need to lose weight. So I would suggest they diversify their portfolio. In story number 8, Pfizer's once ambitious push into the obesity drug market has taken another hit. And this time it's the last of their in-house GLP-1 medications to go. On August 5th, the company confirmed it has officially stopped work on PF 06954522, a GLP-1 agonist developed with sose hepartase that first entered human testing back in 2023. At that time, then Chief Scientific Officer Michael Dolston talked up Pfizer's pretty strong effort in GLP-1s, but the program quickly began losing steam. First came Laraine, an oral GLP-1 candidate scrapped after liver enzyme issues showed up in trials. Then danuglipron was pulled earlier this year following a potential case of drug-induced liver injury. PF 06954522 now joins them on the shelf, although Pfizer says this time safety wasn't the problem. Instead, the decision came after reviewing phase 1 data and looking at today's competitive GLP-1 landscape. And that competition is fierce, with Eli Lilly and Novo Nordisk already dominating the space with drugs like Zepbound, Mounjaro, Wegovy, and Ozempic. For patients using GLP-1s to treat the disease of obesity, the news means Pfizer won't be bringing a new option to the table anytime soon. The company's only remaining obesity-related drug in the clinic is PF 07976016, a GIPR antagonist now in phase 2 trials. On the same day's second quarter earnings call, Pfizer CEO Albert Bourla stressed that obesity and cardiometabolic diseases remain a priority for the company, but any future deals to rebuild its pipeline will be very disciplined. In other words, no overpaying. That may hint at smaller acquisitions or licensing deals rather than a big splashy buyout. While Pfizer's GLP-1 exit grabbed headlines, the company also cleared out other parts of its pipeline. It officially discontinued its late-stage C. difficile vaccine candidate, PF 06425090, although work is underway on a next-generation version that can move into phase 3 trials later this year with a simpler dosing schedule and a stronger immune response. 2 other early-stage assets were also cut, PF 07293893, aimed at heart failure, and PF 07820435, a cancer immunotherapy drug. For now, Pfizer's role in the obesity drug race is looking a lot smaller, and with the market moving fast, they'll need to act soon if they want to get back in the game.
So this is going to happen through acquisitions, but basically the CEO said, we're not spending a ton of money to speculate.
Well, in that third one, it sounded like maybe the drug did okay, but it couldn't compete with Wegovy or Zepbound, so they just said, forget it, we're not even going to try.
And I think a lot of these, I honestly think they're approaching incorrectly. I think the market's going to be so big that you could essentially have duplicates of products and it'd be just fine. It's like walking into a grocery store and there's multiple jars of spaghetti sauce.
It's like they all want to be number one, right? Wegovy and Zepbound are going head to head, seeing who can be number one in sales, and Pfizer can't even get a candidate to pass that doesn't hurt your liver. But maybe they did, but it wouldn't be as big as Wegovy or Zepbound, so they just said, peace out.
I drive down the road and there's 6 car dealerships that all sell the same basic thing.
All selling cars.
I don't need you to make the fastest car, just
everybody's
make one that works at a good price. Everybody's going to need a car
eventually.
Yeah.
Everybody's, what is it? 74% of America could possibly be a candidate for these GLP-1 medications, and now only, what would we say in that first story, 11% of America uses GLP-1s currently? Sounds like a big potential for sales.
In our final story of the day, we give Eli Lilly crap all the time about pricing, and rightly so.
Lower your price, Eli
Lower your
Lilly.
prices, Eli Lilly. Be the hero. But, I saw a nice story, so I thought it would bring to you guys as well. So, Eli Lilly and the Indiana Fever, the basketball team, and the YMCA of Greater Indianapolis are teaming up on a new initiative to help more girls get in the game. It's called The Court is Hers. Starting this fall, registration fees for girls' basketball leagues and clinics at the YMCA will be completely waived. The goal is simple: remove cost barriers and boost participation. Research shows girls leave sports at twice the rate of boys, often because of cost and access. Lilly's Jennifer Oleksu says sports can build confidence, support mental and physical health, and open doors for the future. And this partnership is about making that possible for every girl. The YMCA will run all the programs from leagues to clinics, and the Fever's leadership says they want every girl in Indianapolis to know there's a place for her on the court and beyond. Families can register now for fall and winter sessions at YMCA locations across the city using promo code HERCOURT to waive fees. No basketball experience is required. So I'm a girl dad. I think this is great.
That's nice. Isn't Caitlin Clark from Indiana? So, a lot of publicity, of course, with her doing so well in the WNBA. So I think that's a very nice thing of Eli Lilly to do.
We appreciate it when you do nice things. Mm-hmm. Make it nationwide. Go for it.
I mean, it's costing them pennies compared to their earnings, right? So, but it's, it's a nice thing to do, so we appreciate it.
That wraps up this edition of the Downsized News. We hope today's update gave you something helpful in your own GLP-1 adventure.
And if you're looking for things that can help you with your GLP-1 journey, visit our website, thedownsized.org. There you'll find links to our 2026 Downsized Cruise, our GLP-1 Amazon store, and our email list. Please note that we are Amazon affiliates. When you shop through our store, you're helping support our channel, The Downsized, at no cost to you, and we thank you for your support.
If you haven't already, please like this video, subscribe to The Downsized, and tap that notification bell so you never miss what's coming next. We break down the science and the news so you don't have to. We hope you will join us and be a part of the Downsized community.
I'm Laraine Durham.
And I'm Christopher Durham, and we are The Downsized.